Hi girls, so this is PS2. So we're looking at describes a wide variety of farm business structures from the family farm to the corporate enterprise. So this page here, we have some general statistics regarding agriculture. So let's have a look here. So there's 150,000 farm businesses in ag and 350,000 people are employed. So farms take up 60% of Australia's landmass. Family farms are declining, though there are still 100,000 family farms. Ag commodities are worth $41 billion per year. That's a billion. Other agribusinesses benefit from ag, so transport, managers, agents, wholesalers, retailers. Despite declining number of farms, total farm production per hectare is increasing due to higher efficiencies. So through the use of technologies, we're getting better and we're producing more. Okay, so this table has our different, I'm on the wrong thing here. This table has the different structures. So we've got family farms, combined corporate family farms. Just move something here. Combined corporate family farms. Over this page, we've got corporate farms and cooperatives. So we're going to do a bit of a summary, an outline of these, then some advantages and then disadvantages. So family farms. So it's owned by a family, often third, fourth, fifth generation. Family usually lives on the farm and is part of the local community. The members of the family will often be involved in running the farm and be working it. They'll often be run by children in the future. So an advantage is the family is heavily invested in the success of the farm and therefore can survive during poor conditions. They'll just go with that. More personal relationship with the farm, workers and the local community. So they're highly integrated into the local communities. The negatives, harder to access capital to buy new equipment, just through banks and stuff like that. I'll often have very large debts with banks. If smaller, it's harder to compete on price with larger farms due to lack of economies of scale. So basically, an economy of scale means that if you're larger, you can buy stuff at bulk and get better prices for it. So that makes your profits greater. Hope that makes sense. Now, the combined family or corporate farm, very similar to a family farm, but it's got a different structure. It's usually been run by a family farm that's gotten larger and larger and larger, and they don't have to rely on banks for money, so they're quite large. Usually they become very large to compete with corporate farms. Many have offices in towns and cities rather than on farm. Can compete with large corporate farms due to economies of scale. They have more of a personal relationship with employees compared to corporate and more inherent willingness to succeed. Becomes a negative is that they become very large and complex to run. So it's a family farm, but more like a corporate sort of structure. Okay, corporate farms. So this is owned by a company and possibly listed on the stock exchange with shareholders. Properties are run purely for profit and decisions are made mostly around this. An advantage is easy to access capital to invest in new equipment, usually large and better economies of scale. The downsides are less personal relationships, so they might not be that connected in their local communities. And decisions are made purely for profit. So sometimes the environment might come at an expense because they have to choose profit. And then we have a co-op. So a cooperative is a bunch of farmers getting together, investing in equipment. Processing equipment is usually one of the things that they invest in together. And some examples are like dairy farmers. So that was whole group of dairy farmers got together, created the brand Dairy Farmers, and they invested in processing equipment and marketed their own products. So the Northern Co-op for meat in northern New South Wales is another big one. I actually worked for a cooperative down in Wagga. That was a grain growing cooperative where the co-op marketed the grain for a huge group of growers. So we had over 100 growers that we worked for, and we were handling a lot of grain. That's no longer about that. So some of the advantages is those pooled resources, capital invest in equipment. They can compete against large companies and farmers share in the profits. So as opposed to a corporate, a company, though any dividends that a company makes or any profits go back to the shareholders. Now, with a cooperative, anything that they make goes back to the farmers. So the farmers themselves are the shareholders. Okay, so downsides, needing to agree with other partners, and they lose independence. One of the things that often happens is farmers are a diverse range of individuals. They often have very diverse ideas on how they want to go, and a lot of these cooperatives tend to implode. Okay, so we have an HSC question here. So let's have a look. The question, so this was from 2011. So the question, let's just zoom in here. Analyse the structure of Australian agribusiness sector, including a comparison of the importance of the family farm with other components of this sector. Okay, so we've got a sample answer here, and this is straight off the NASA website. And it's a really, really good answer. Now, if we have a look here, here's a bit of a marking guide. So it describes components of the Australian agribusiness sector and relates the importance of the family farm to other components of the sector. So we've got some of the random, so in our answer, we can put some of the statistics. So declining number of family farms, occupy 60% of the land. Agribusinesses are the lifeblood of rural communities. Wholesale, retail, transport. Family farm is central to providing raw products. So all of this stuff here. Now, the best answers link the family farm to the other agribusinesses. Now, if we have a look in our sample answer, this first paragraph is describing the importance of the family farm. This paragraph and this paragraph is where it's linking the family farm to the wider agribusiness community. Okay, and that's what we needed to get these top marks. If we have a look at these 5s and 6, so describe the agribusiness sector and how it relates to the importance of the family farm to other components of the agribusiness sector. This answer does that really, really well. So they've described the importance of the farm and then they've linked it to the other parts of the agribusiness sector. That is it.